So, joining us in studio tonight, we have Rob Green from Rob Green Motorsport and Jacques, who's the test driver. How's that? You get a job to go and test drive cars. So, good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to Motoring in the Mix. And I'm going to start with Rob. The Toyota 86, as I mentioned, had the looks, just didn't have the go to it. Now, you and your nutty crew have come up with an amazing performance kit that you've done to the 86. And what Rob Green has done is his bunch of guys, and they're a bunch of lunatic technicians who make everything go a lot faster, have come along and put on a supercharger. Not a turbocharger like a lot of modern day cars have. It's a supercharger. A lot of motoring journalists around the world, when this car came out, raved about the handling, raved about the car, and all criticized the performance. So now, Rob, just tell us a little bit. You've taken a supercharger and you've bolted it on this Boxer. Basically, it's a Subaru Toyota engine, and you've given it a lot more power. How do you go about developing a car like this?
Yeah, Adam, so first of all, if we believe in a vehicle and we see the numbers there, we go out and we purchase a vehicle. In this case, we purchased a Toyota 86. We started doing development on the vehicle.
So how long does it take to sort of develop it? Obviously, you don't just go out and buy a car and decide, hang on, I'm going to make this car faster. I'm going to take it a lens brew and make it faster. You know, stick some mags on it, it'll go faster. It's more than that. You can't just, modern day engines, you can't just bolt on a supercharger.
Yeah, most definitely. We do installation, we do durability testing. We take the vehicle to different altitudes between high level and sea level. High altitudes, different temperatures, and we start getting feedback and we start looking at the whole installation.
Okay. So obviously there's a market for a car like this to go, something that's a little bit special. People want a good track day car, but they want a little bit more performance. So in terms of the performance of a car like this, standard, Jacques, I'm going to put you, I know you're the numbers man. You know, I was talking to Jacques before and he knows everything. In terms of standard performance of this car, the standard output of a standard 86 or Subaru BRZ, which is the same car?
Yes, they claim it as 147 kilowatts on the engine and 205 newton meters, and this completely bolt-on supercharger kit from RG Motorsport raises it up to 220 kilowatts on the engine and 350 newton meters.
So that's about 50% more power.
Yes, and that is at our high altitude. Because
the 147 kilowatts, although is okay maybe at the coast, but when you get to Joburg sort of altitudes, it becomes a bit wheezy. I mean, especially considering that you've got cars like Golf GTIs and Polo GTIs. Little Fiesta STs will blow the pants off this car standard.
Yes.
So now you've gone and made it 50% more powerful.
Indeed, yes.
So now let me just give you an example here. If you're listening and you want to know what difference does it make, if you're talking, everybody wants to know how fast does a car go. 0 to 100, how fast is it? Hey, Blue, how fast is that thing? 0 to 100. Okay, a standard one, I think it's around about, about 7, nearly 8 seconds, something like that. Jacques, am I right?
Yes, and we got our manual one at genetic testing, 7.9 seconds in
that's
standard form, yes.
And by putting a supercharger on it?
It went down to 6.2.
So you've knocked off more than 2 seconds just on that. And as usual, everybody wants to know what's the sort of top speed of these cars. I mean, okay, so I know I've been driving this car, and let me tell you, it's a revelation compared to the standard one. And you may get some speeding fines. So what are the sort of numbers we're talking there?
Well, our top speed that we got in the standard form was 223. And surprisingly, this car doesn't come with a speed governor or speed limiter. So in 6th gear, on 6,500 RPM, we got 270 kilometers per hour.
Okay, I just fell off my chair. 270 k's an hour. I want to know who did that. Obviously, this was under controlled environment.
Yes, for sure. All our testing is in controlled environments. We do not condone any street racing or any illegal activity.
With a big smile on his face, we know who's going to be buying this car. All right, after this ad break, we're going to be getting back to Rob Green and the crazy 86. You're listening to Motoring in the Mix. It is 22 minutes past 7 as the helicopter goes flying over our studios. Maybe Mr. Jacob's getting taken back home. I don't know. Anyway, if you want to send us a text message or ask us any question whatsoever regarding motoring issues, or if you want to ask a question about the subject we are chatting about tonight, which is Rob Green's ludicrously powerful Toyota 86, taken a standard Toyota 86 and made it into a monster that is really what the car should have been in the first place. I think Toyota and Subaru, gents, they should have put a turbo, or they should have put something on this car initially.
Some form of forced induction on that capacity engine of a 2 litre, yeah.
But I'm glad you're happy they didn't, because now it's business for you guys.
And it's given us a good market there.
Definitely. It's given you a great market to go and play with. And, of course, this is what makes Motoring Issue so exciting for guys who've gone out and taken a standard car and made it a little bit more exciting, going a bit faster, this is ideally the kind of car that you want to do it. You don't want to do it to your 730 diesel, really, do you?
Well, that's it. We started with a car that had a very good platform, a car that handled. Its braking system complements it. So it's a fairly light car, so the standard brakes do suffice on that. And it's got the handling and it's got the looks.
Okay, so you've got a potential client now who has a Toyota 86, who, like me and like most probably every Toyota 86 owner, feels it's a bit underpowered and wants to up the performance. You have a supercharger kit that bolts on. Now, where does the supercharger kit come from? Is it a local development, or is it something that was developed overseas that you fit here?
The kit's developed with a partner company in America, Vortec USA, and then exported to us in kit form.
Okay, so you get the whole kit, and that gets fitted to the vehicle. Now, if I brought my 86 to you, how long does it take to actually transform the car into the monster that I want it to be?
All right. Our import kit excludes the chip tuning part of it, the kit, and the exhaust system. So turnaround time on the installation, we keep the car for 5 days.
Okay, so it's 5 days. It's quite a quick turnaround.
5-day turnaround. Day 1 and halfway through day 2 is generally manufacturing the exhaust system. So it comes with a complete exhaust system, which we either available in the cat back. In other words, off the catalytic converter to the back.
Okay, so you keep the catalytic converter and you just...
Depends. We also give our customer the option of removing all the catalytic converters.
Okay, now we've got a lathe person outside there who says, what's a catalytic converter? What is the actual, after the cat, before the cat? What does it actually do? I mean, what's the process of a catalytic converter, and why would it make a difference if you leave it in or don't?
Well, the catalytic converter is there for certain emission controls.
So just to make the exhaust a bit cleaner?
It's the exhaust cleaner, the fumes coming out the back of the car a bit cleaner. The catalytic converter also takes power from the vehicle because it's a restricted component. And it's riding the exhaust downstream.
So somebody who wants to have a car a bit more performance, you don't want an exhaust with basically a tennis ball shoved halfway down it.
There we go.
So you want something to release that performance and to make the car going a lot more better, free-flowing exhaust.
That's where it counts. So it's a calculated exhaust system. On the exhaust side, we use our dynamometer for various reasons and the tuning, but we can ascertain exactly how much power the exhaust makes and where does it make it.
And the modern car as well nowadays is so sophisticated. You can plug a computer into it and you can actually manipulate the management system with a different map so that you make everything work together correctly. So your supercharger now delivers more air, so you have to deliver more fuel, correct?
Yeah, you can do what you call port programming and mapping. We choose to use a piggyback system, which is on the unit chip. It's a back-to-back, it's a piggyback unit, back-to-back little ECU component, which we map and program.
So that allows you to actually get the engine management system as such to work perfectly with your supercharger and to make the engine work perfectly good without becoming... I mean, in the old days, guys, I mean, you can remember way back when you had your Mini and your Crossflow Escort and you chucked the wild cam on it and side draft Webers. It was terrible at idle, but at 5,000 to 6,000 revs, it went like hell. Nowadays, you've got that performance right from the bottom. You don't have to have just up-end of performance or bottom-end performance. You can do it by mapping the system to work so the car becomes a lot more drivable.
That is correct. In standard form, one can also map the car, reprogram the car to make more power and make the car more efficient.
Okay.
Sorry,
no, carry on.
Most of the time when programming and mapping the vehicle, the end result is more power and better fuel consumption.
Yeah, I was quite surprised because I've had the car for a couple of days driving it around, and besides the power improvement, which is very, very good, and the car is very smooth. It's not like a race car that's got a performance just in the sort of top end of it. It really does perform nicely right throughout the range. It's easy to drive. Miss Daisy could drive it in the traffic if she wanted, but if you want to put your foot down, it goes like the clappers. So it works very, very well, the system. Jacques, you as a test driver for Rob Green Motorsport, must be fun to get these cars to go out to a racetrack and jowl around in it.
Yes, well, it's firstly a massive honor to be trusted by RG Motorsport with these cars and stuff. And to add some fun to it as well, Rob is known in this industry for going straight in a fast line or in a straight line.
But he can't take corners.
But not anymore. Because
You've been training him in the 86.
Exactly, yes. We go to track days and I'm his driver trainer, and that's the best part about the Supercharger kit, with some add-ons available from RG Motorsport for this Toyota 86. When it comes out the factory, like you said earlier, it's a fun, sporty car. It's got the looks. Now it goes.
Yeah, but it's just a bit disappointing in its performance, yeah.
Yes, so now with a Supercharger kit with some good rubber, and it can really be such a cost-effective, fun track day car.
Well, that's the thing what you mentioned, a cost-effective car. If you look at guys, a lot of people nowadays want to go out and get a track day car. They don't want to buy a Porsche. Well, they want to buy an M3, which even if it breaks, it costs a fortune to fix, or something crazy like that. They want something that's a little bit more affordable. I mean, the standard 86 now is roughly, what, about 380 grand, 400 grand, somewhere around there?
Down around the 350 mark.
Yeah, so around about 350. So if we take your conversion and we add that on, what sort of cost would it be a standard supercharger performance kit? What does it sort of cost?
Our bolt-on supercharger, which includes the exhaust system, includes all the chip tuning and the programming, and it comes with our 6-month, 20,000 kilometer warranty. It's 85,000 inclusive of VAT.
Okay, so 85 grand, including the very aggravating tax, which is not bad considering the 50% performance increase that you get out of it. And you mentioned to me before coming on air that you've got a vehicle that's been running around that's done quite a lot of mileage with this kit on it?
That's correct. We've got a long-term durability and test vehicle that's done just over 180,000 kilometers.
So it just goes to show that fitting something like this does not affect the reliability of the car.
By fitting a supercharger with a reputable tuner, very important, and doing the durability test, running on the right fuel, and not pushing the car above safety parameters and other boundaries.
In other words, don't be an idiot.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Build it for long term. Have it for long term.
Rob, what happens if I've got a car that's under warranty? How does this affect my warranty? Because I know a lot of the manufacturers saying, well, if you put the wrong air in my tires, I'm going to void your warranty.
Yeah, look, as I said earlier, we offer our 6-month, 20,000 kilometer warranty.
That's on your, but you don't guarantee the rest of the car.
On our conversion. We found that a fair amount of the customers are servicing at the dealers.
Okay.
We do cars for all over South Africa, nationwide. So it all depends, I think, on the owner of the car and their relationship with the service.
But I mean, you got lighties like Jacques, yeah? I mean, how old are you, Jacques?
20.
20, and you get to
talented 20-year-old.
He's a talented 20-year-old who can get to drive around some of these cars around racetracks and that. They don't know what it's all about. They're spoiled brats who get to drive fancy cars around it. What a job! What a job! Rob, you were telling us a story earlier on about this youngster, and he did something when he was 16. Just quickly tell us in short the story that he did.
Yeah, a few years ago, there was a record at ODI set up. It was a Opel turbocharged nitrous, and we went out there chasing the record.
This was a top speed record.
It was a top speed on the banked oval.
So that's on Geratech. This is, for our listeners who don't know, it's a banked oval. I'm sure you've seen lots of car ads where they've got this car driving around on a banked oval, or racetracks like the Indy 500 kind of thing. And the cars drive around basically a circular track at as fast as speed as you can. It's very, very dangerous. Sorry, Rob, you carry on with the story.
Yeah, so we went out there. We had a E92 M3, the V8 M3 with a supercharger, and we went out chasing that record. We did well that day. We took the BMW record and South African record. We set up a speed of 266 km now around the banked oval.
Doesn't seem so fast, because you can you lose a lot of speed because of the scrub off. Am I correct? If you're on a straight line, you can do a lot faster.
That's correct. So your straight line speed down the back straight would be probably in the region of about 285 km an hour.
Yeah.
And then entering this turn, this heavy turn, you lose scrub speed and mechanical grip. So the car becomes quite a handful to take through that corner.
Yeah. So now the story was you were there and you got this new high-speed record, and then there was some lighty there.
Yeah, there was. There wasn't only a Lighty, there was a white R35 Skyline.
So that's also quite a fast car. Anybody knows about?
Very good car to start with. It's four-wheel drive. It makes a fair amount of power in standard form.
Yeah.
And it's got huge potential.
So now this little 16-year-old
Well, there was this youngster. He was at that stage 16 years old, and he jumped in the car and he set up some decent times during the day, but he still was slightly behind us. So we thought we had in the bag. We're going to keep that South African record. They did one more tyre change, and Jacques went out with the vehicle, and he did just short of 270 k's an hour round the banked oval.
Okay, so
he beats us fair and square.
What does it feel like as somebody who has a driver's license to get drilled by somebody who didn't have a driver's license? I mean, it must be embarrassing.
Yeah, it's called PlayStation.
That's it. Too much training on the PlayStation. Ladies and gentlemen, listeners, we've been chatting to Rob and Jacques from Rob Green Motorsport about the Toyota 86. Anything you'd like to add on there before we finish off the segment?
Yeah, look, from our side, it's getting back to the Toyota 86. It's a fantastic car, good fun. The supercharged most definitely complements it. It's all around now a really fun car.
Yeah, and I can really stand by that because I've driven it for a couple of days now. Really enjoyed it. By the way, I think you're going to pick it up tomorrow. Am I correct, Jacques?
Yes,
I won't be at work for the next week, okay? I'm not going to be back there.
Please get it back to us. I do plan on using it on Sunday at Swartkops for my training session.
Okay, he's got his training session. Jacques, just remember to put the training wheels on. Those are the little outriggers that you stick on the side there, so he doesn't have to go off the track.
No, don't worry, I've got it covered.
But besides the 86, Rob Green's been around for some time, and you guys have been doing a lot of other upgraded stuff. Jacques, just quickly, a couple of other cars that you guys improve on in terms of their performance?
Like my personal car is a little 1400 turbo supercharged Polo GTR.
Okay.
Like that's got our stage 1 conversion. Stage 1 conversion consists of free flow downpipe. So that's also taking out that catalytic converter that we spoke.
So you get a bit more. You get a bit more power out of it. Also, it's just a bog standard Polo GTI.
Yes, and then other popular cars are the new generation 7 GTRs, the 7Rs, the new Audi S3s. We also specialize. RG Motorsports, the home of BMWs, a lot of 135s, M135s, 1Ms as well. The new M235 was also a very nice, powerful little car. And yes, we also specialize in 4x4s. The Toyota Hiluxes, the D4Ds is popular, the 79 Land Cruisers. Our supercharger kits like our FJ Cruiser, it's got 330 kilowatts and 550 newton meters.
So there's a lot of cars that you guys take that are really performance orientated and really give them that extra performance that the guy who doesn't want just the bog standard GTI or M3 or 135. He wants something that when he parks next to the other 135, he can show him bye-bye.
Yes, show him who's
who in the zoo. That's right. So if you got one of those cars and you feel like uprating it and want to empty your wallet a bit, I'm sure Rob Green will take your money from him. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here in studio tonight. And to our listeners, pop along to Rob Green's website. What website? And what is the website?
It's www.rgmotorsport.com. We've also got Facebook and Twitter pages, RG Motorsport SA, and then at RG Motorsport.
Go along and have a look at